Hello, hey, my name is Sydney, and the Pokemon games are full of different kinds of landscapes. Cities, forests, caves, etc. Fellow YouTuber TerraQuake has done ranking videos on all of these, except one. Despite me leaving comments requesting he do a video ranking the oceans of the Pokemon regions, and him hearting them, my dream video of his has never come to fruition. So I decided...
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And I'll be ranking every water route in Pokemon based on how fun they are. All the way from very fun, meh, and finally, absolute snooze fest. Determining what makes a water route fun will come down to what you were able to do within the route. Big, empty bodies of water will be ranked in the snooze fest tier, while a water route with an island or a cave could be ranked in the very fun tier. However, sometimes the island or cave is so big or too different from a water route that I don't consider it part of the route. Starting off in the Kanto region with Route 19. Route 19 is very dull and is basically just a big body of water. In Pokemon Yellow, it has the Surfing Dude's house, which is a fun minigame. However, in Generation 2, the Surfing Dude's house is replaced with a boring gate. Route 19 is going into the Snooze Fest tier. Route 20, by comparison, is way better, as it has the Seafoam Islands, an expansive cave system that contains lots of unique Pokemon, and even Articuno. By the time Generation 2 rolls around, one of the islands has become Blaine's gym, but that's still very exciting to do. Route 20 is going to the very fun tier. Route 21 is more middle of the road. It's mostly just empty water, but it has some islands with a few trainers and even a patch of grass where you can catch Tangela. I'll place Route 21 in the meh tier, because there's more to do than Route 19, but it's not as interesting as Route 20. The Gen 3 Kanto remakes also have water routes in the Sevi Islands. The Water Labyrinth has an NPC that will give you a Togepi egg if your Pokemon have enough friendship, but other than that, it's just a bunch of rocks. The Water Labyrinth will go into the meh tier. Resort Gorgeous has, of course, the Resort Gorgeous. In the resort, Selphie will give you various rewards by showing her different Pokemon, but only after you rescue her from the Lost Cave. Resort Gorgeous will go into the fun tier. Outcast Island looks interesting at first, since it comes with the Altering Cave. While the Altering Cave was once going to have a variety of Pokemon depending on the events, those events never happened, and all you can find in the cave is just a bunch of boring Zubat. Outside of the cave, there's little more than just more rocks, so Outcast Island is going into the absolute snooze fest tier. The Water Path connects 6 islands to the Green Path. In one of the houses, there is a woman who wants to see a really big Heracross. Once you show her one, you will receive a netball. Other than that, you can find some berries and even a dragon scale, so this route is sort of worthwhile. I'll put the Water Path in meh tier. Last for the Kanto region is the Tenobi Ruins. The route starts off completely useless until you unlock the ruins with a key, but once you unlock it, all you find is unknown. The Tenobi Ruins also have heart scales and some trainers to fight, so I'll put the Tenobi Ruins in the fun tier. Even though unknown aren't very exciting, there is at least a quest attached to it. Moving on to the Johto region with Route 40. Route 40 is very empty in both versions, as its whole purpose is to lead to the much more exciting Route 41. Absolute Snooze Fest is the perfect home for Route 40. Route 41 is home to the Whirl Islands, which, much like the Seafoam Islands of Kanto, have lots of Pokemon and also house the legendary Pokemon Lugia. Without question, Route 41 is going into the very fun tier. Believe it or not, that's it for Johto, and that's on to Hoenn. Oh boy, there are a lot of water routes in Hoenn. Route 105 has the island cave where Regice lives, as well as some available heart scales. Other than that, it's just a bunch of water. However, it is important to the story if you want to get the Regis, so I'll put Route 105 in the very fun tier. Route 106 is empty, with the exception of Granite Cave. Yes, Granite Cave is technically part of Route 106, even though I always thought of it as more a part of Dewford Town. Granite Cave is full of Pokemon, and is also important to the story because it's where the player meets Steven for the first time. However, I'm considering Granite Cave to be its own area, since it's not even surrounded by the water of Route 106. This means that I'll be placing Route 106 in the meh tier. Route 107 is very empty, and like Route 40, serves only to connect to Dewford Town Route 108. There are some trainers and a few hidden items underwater, but nothing too big. I'll place it into the meh tier. Route 108 seems empty at first, but it contains the Sea Mauville at the center. The Sea Mauville is an expansive area with a lot of unique items, including a Water Stone, which is very helpful for evolving Pokemon like Ludicolo and Starmie. The Sea Mauville boosts Route 108 all the way to the very fun tier. Route 109 is the Slateport Beachfront, and its main attraction is the Seashore House. Inside, you can defeat 3 trainers, and in return you get a case of Soda Pop, which restores 60 HP to your Pokemon. It's a fun little challenge that introduces you to a helpful healing item. You can also explore and battle trainers on the beach, so Route 109 will go into the very fun tier. Route 122 has no trainers or items in it, and it just serves as an entrance to Mount Pyre. Mount Pyre is a cool area, but like with Route 106 and Granite Cave, I'm considering Mount Pyre as a separate area simply because of how big and different it is. Route 122 has literally nothing in it aside from the mountain, so it's going into the absolute snooze fest tier. Route 104 has the Treasure Hunter, a man who will give you evolution stones in exchange for different colored shards. It also has a surplus of dive spots, which contain lots of items. I'll put Route 124 in the fun tier. Route 125 contains the Shoal Cave. Now, with Granite Cave and Mount Pyre, I considered those separate areas. But the Shoal Cave is surrounded entirely by the water of Route 125, so I'll consider it part of the route. The Shoal Cave is the only place where you can catch Wild Spheal and Snorunt, and that alone boosts Route 25 to the very fun tier. Route 126 is basically just the entrance into Setopolis City, which I'm considering a separate area. Outside of Setopolis, there are a few trainers to fight and a plethora of hidden items underwater for you to find. Route 124 will go into the fun tier because of the large amount of items. Route 127 has lots of diveable areas with items and trainers to fight, but it has really nothing else going for it. I'll place it into the meh tier. Route 128 contains the Seafloor Cavern underwater, which is integral to getting Kyogre. Route 28 will go into the fun tier just because it's important for the story. Route 129 is very typical. It has some trainers, some underwater areas with a few items to find, not really anything for it to go beyond the meh tier. Route 130 is a bit more interesting, as on certain days it can have Mirage Island, which contains a Lychee Berry and Wild Wynaut to catch. But outside of the certain days Mirage Island is present, it is literally empty. Technically, there are 2 trainers and some underwater items, but that's just more of the usual. Route 130 will go into the meh tier without Mirage Island, and the fun tier with Mirage Island. Route 131 is home to the Sky Pillar, which is where you catch Rayquaza. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Route 131 is even important for the Delta episode, as it's where you battle Wallace to enter the Cave of Origin. Route 131 is going into the very fun tier. The last 3 routes for Hoenn are going into the fun tier because they all have a current. While not traditionally fun, a current is a unique attribute we do not see on any other water routes in Hoenn, and it's something to change up a boring body of empty ocean. Finally moving on to Sinnoh with Route 220. It's the standard water route with a few trainers and items, including the Sea Plate for Arceus. It is also split into 3 individual paths depending on where you enter the route, which is at least a little unique. I'll put Route 220 into the fun tier. Route 223 has some big rocks and some tiny islands with trainers and items. Among the items you can collect, one of them is the Rain Dance TM. It also leads into Victory Road, so everyone will have to go through this route at some point in their Sinnoh journey. I'll place Route 223 into the fun tier. Route 226 is considered a water route according to Bulbapedia, but it's full of grass. There are a lot of areas to use rock climb to retrieve items, and in the center of the water is the Meister's house, who has an in-game trade of a Finneon for a Magikarp. This seems unfair at first, but the Magikarp is actually German, and ultimately unlocks the foreign Pokédex entries for certain Pokémon. Route 226 will go into the very fun tier. Route 230 has a big island inside of it, and unlike Hoenn's Route 130, the island is considered part of the route and not its own area. In this island, you can catch Wild Togepi with the Poké Radar, as well as find all sorts of berries and fight some trainers. Route 130 is going into the fun tier. On to a quick stop to Unova with Route 17. Route 17 has a current, much like the 3 Hoenn routes. There are a handful of trainers to fight and items to find, most notably the Toxic TM. Route 17 also has the B2 laboratory and leads up to the Plasma Frigate. Frigate? I think it's Frigate, but those are considered different areas and not part of the route. I'll place Route 17 in the fun tier because, like Hoenn, the currents make it more interesting. Last for Unova is Route 21. Route 21 doesn't have much, but it is a split path maze of rocks, sort of like Sinnoh's Route 220. This route also leads to the Seaside Cave. I'll put it into the meh tier, since although there are trainers, there's not too many items to find. We make an even quicker stop in Kalos, as its only listed water route is Azure Bay. Azure Bay has quite a bit. It has a photo spot where you can get your photo taken on the back of a Lapras, areas where you can use Rock Smash, and even a gift Ampharos among the valuable items you can find. Azure Bay is easily going into the very fun tier. Last but not least is Alola, which despite being a region solely made up of islands, has only a single water route, Route 15. Route 15 has lots of items to find, a hidden totem sticker, a Zygarde cell, and in the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games, it even has a Mantine Surf stand. It's also a part of Mina's Trial, and it also has a battle with Plumeria, Team Skull's admin. Route 15 easily goes into the very fun tier. Well, that's every water route listed in Bulbapedia. Now that I've ranked all of them, I can see why TerraQuake never ranked these. Quite a bit of them are boring, and I can see it being difficult to distinguish where the water route ended if it had a cave or an island. However, I'm still glad I made this video because, in my opinion, water routes are often overlooked, and routes like Route 20 or Route 109 are genuinely pretty fun to explore and interact with. Thank you all so much for watching this video, I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, or any of my other videos that I have on my channel, then I would recommend liking the video and subscribing by clicking the big button below. If you're looking for more of me, click the 2 videos right on your screen. Yay.